Holster Talk, Episode 4, Gould and Goodrich, Gold Line Shoulder Holster. In today's video, we're taking a look at the Gould and Goodrich Gold Line Concealed Carry Shoulder Holster. Now, if you saw the thumbnail and, of course, the words shoulder holster, you have a very good idea on where I'm concealing this holster at the moment. So let me do a quick spin for you, and we'll let you judge for yourself how concealable this holster is. Here we go. Now raise your hand if you think the holster is on my left side, and raise your right hand if you think my holster is on the right side. Well, let's see how many of you were correct in your assessment. Well, I happen to have the left-handed draw version of this shoulder holster. And at least in my opinion, when a concealment garment, like say my Magnum PI t-shirt, or if you're cosplaying as a detective wearing, say, a suit jacket, it would conceal very well under a suit jacket, a coat, a Magnum PI shirt, etc. Let's remove our concealment hat. One of the things about shoulder holsters is they can be a little tricky to get the right fit. The temptation for many people is to wear the holster a little looser and lower. That's where your natural instinct probably sits. But in reality, what you want to do is you want to have that shoulder holster high and tight into your armpit. And one of the reasons for that is you should be able to bend over and not have the shoulder holster flop around, flop out, hit you in the face, your firearm fall out, etc. I'll put my That Chapter polo back on here, and we'll redo the bend over test, and we'll see if the holster falls out of my open shirt here. I can hear some of you about to make the fart sound when I bend over. So as you can see, at least hopefully the way it looks on camera, maybe bend over without the arms out, is the holster is not flopping out of my shirt when I bend over to do something like tie my shoes, pick up change off the ground, give Fred a biscuit. You get the idea, which is really what you want to have. You want to have that holster tighten up to your person to where you can move around, bend over, do common activities, and not break concealment, shall we say. I guess unless maybe you're cosplaying as John McClane, finding out what a TV dinner feels like, it's unlikely that you're going to be wearing this holster out in the open, shall we say. So you want to have, as I said, you want to have these holsters high and tight to your body to where your holster's not flopping around. Some people, I would say, especially the younger generations, are going to gravitate more towards, say, your inside waistband, your appendix carry holster, etc. Though those of us that have Swiss cake rolls are going to be challenged to comfortably concealed carry something, say appendix carry, especially the size of, say, this Beretta 92 compact in name. It's not a very compact pistol in my opinion, though when in a shoulder holster, it's still a very concealable firearm. One big advantage, in my opinion, of a shoulder holster over something like an appendix carry or small of the back carry is when driving in a vehicle. When sitting down in a car, especially like say even my Bodyguard 2, when I appendix carry that, it still has a tendency to poke me in the Swiss cake rolls and be uncomfortable. And then the challenge, if you say you switch to a small of the back carry, is you're sitting down in a chair, your back is against the backrest, your firearm is covered up and not easily accessible. Well, when you're sitting down in a chair with your shoulder holster, you can still easily get to your firearm without having to move around or, say, take your holster off, have your firearm somewhere else in your vehicle, which is another challenge on its own. If you're someone who removes your holster when you're doing something like driving, when you get to your location and you're going to exit your vehicle, or after you exit your vehicle, you have to remember to grab your firearm, put it back on, and hope that you're not exposing yourself to the world along the way. With your shoulder holster, you can drive all day, leave your gun holstered on your person, you get out, and you don't have to worry about putting your holster on or forgetting your firearm in the vehicle. Never mind other places like, say, using a public bathroom, where again, you don't have to worry about taking your holster off. One of the downsides to this Gold Line series concealed carry shoulder holster, if it can be said, is it does not come with the belt loop straps. We will see in a future video in this video series that we do have a shoulder holster that has a belt loop strap, and we'll assess if they make any difference or if they're worthwhile. As you can see though, with a shoulder holster that is properly fit, you don't need the belt loop straps to keep your firearm from flopping around and exposing yourself, because even though it might look cool in the movies, you really don't wear your shoulder holster like your David Mills from the movie 7, unless you're wondering what's in the box maybe. Before we dive into our graphics to finish out the video, let's first do our world famous retention test and see how that goes. All right, here we go. World famous retention test. Survey says. Okay, so unlike, say, your inside waistband or a holster, this is where the belt loop straps would certainly come in handy. Is while the holster has remained on my person, when the world has gone upside down on us, my holster is now a little tougher to get to. I can still draw from the holster once I find my firearm, though certainly it's working against me in this case. So unless you're fighting with those Monday, Friday snakes on that upside down plane, this is probably one of those conditions you don't have to worry about. Though some people like to be action movie stars, and if you're going to be that action movie star, I'd probably go with a shoulder holster that has the belt loop straps. Of course, then you actually have to be wearing a belt. Which reminds me, I was reminded during our upside down world shoulder holster retention test is one of the other nice things about these shoulder holsters is they're very easy to take off. For example, you get home, you put it on the back of your chair, your shoulder holster rack, whatever it may be. But let's say you need to run out into the world and defend yourself from those Monday, Friday snakes. Well, you could be out in your birthday suit. You don't need to worry about having pants, a belt, etc. You just put your shoulder holster on, and you could be out there in your birthday suit, but still armed to face the world. Well, anyway, let's move to that graphic portion of the video now. The Gold Line shoulder holster is a leather shoulder holster. It is available in chestnut brown or black with a left or a right-handed draw. It has adjustable straps to accommodate many different body sizes and is available for the Beretta 92 style firearms, the Glock G17 and G20, the SIG P226, and the Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm series firearms. For some pros and cons, on the pros side, the holster has a nice thumb retention strap that keeps the firearm secure in the holster, and I do recommend you do make use of that retention strap when using a shoulder holster. It has multiple adjustment positions to help ensure proper fit across many different body sizes. The firearm holster has good stitching and is built to last. I've had this holster for going on 5 years now, and it has held up well. And the double magazine pouch ensures you have some extra magazines should you need to engage those Monday, Friday snakes on this upside down plane. On the con side, you need an overgarment of some type if you're going to wear this holster setup concealed, be it that Magnum PI shirt, the sport coat, etc. It's much more challenging to conceal without a overgarment, obviously. There are no belt straps included, and as we saw in our retention test, there are certain situations where those belt straps are going to be much more important than others. Another downside that's not so obvious is the fittings, not the snaps, but the fittings as far as the adjustment fittings, the Chicago screws, the joining point at where the shoulders meet, those are all plastic. And the last con is it's moderately expensive in that $150 to $200 ballpark. It's more expensive than many other holster options out there. Here's a close-up of the firearm in the holster. You can see the holster is molded to the firearm. It's a nice sturdy leather and nice stitching to accompany it. You can also see towards the bottom of the holster there is a snap where you could attach a belt loop strap. That unfortunately is not included with the holster by default. The magazine pouch has similar nice quality leather and stitching. It also has two different snap buttons attached to the magazine pouch to accommodate different sized magazines, at least in the case of the 92 series holster. Here you can see the strap adjustment positions. You would use the smaller holes, not the larger holes, for the adjustment here. The Chicago screws and those keepers are both plastic. I would have preferred some metal fittings here, though I guess on the flip side, you don't have to worry about plastic rusting, and maybe that's why they went with plastic here. While the holster and the mag pouch are fairly stout pieces of leather, the strips that run between your shoulders and the holsters in the mag pouch are a much thinner build of leather. It's held up well for me over the years, though it is noticeably thinner than the holster and mag pouch leather, which is probably to help aid in concealment when worn under a concealment garment. The last picture we have here is of the fitting that attaches holds the different straps together that would be at, say, between your shoulder blades. Again, this is plastic with plastic fittings. And if you're someone like me that has longer hair, you'll probably notice in the picture that at least a few times my hair has got caught in that fitting, which is a little uncomfortable. But if you have long hair, you're kind of used to things occasionally grabbing you by your hair, shall we say. Overall, I would say I'm very happy with this Gould line concealment shoulder holster. For at least for going on the last 5 years, it's held up well for me. And it's one of the holsters, particularly if I'm going to be driving long distance in my car, that I use the most often. I find in situations like, say, driving in the car or other areas where you're sitting down for prolonged periods, that the shoulder holster, at least for my body style and preferred style of carrying, is the most comfortable option of the options that I have at my disposal. What do you guys think about shoulder holsters and using them in general? Let us know in the comments. Well, anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, like the video, share it with your friends and family. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you didn't enjoy the video, well, like it anyway. No one's going to know that you liked it, and it helps us greatly. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day. Goodrich, oh, Goodrich. The Yorka, Yorka, Yorka.